In this video, we're going to do some framing, and we're going to do it right now. And we are back again in the bedroom remodel. This is a complete gut. I've been doing several videos, the last of which was moving the staircase that used to be right here. Check the link in the description for the playlist for all the videos that I've done in this room so far. And in this video, I just want to get all the framing done that I need to do so I can run some wires. There's really not a lot of framing that has to be done. Basically what's here is 2x6 ceiling joists, 10-foot span, 24 inch on center, so they're 24 inches apart. So what I'm gonna do, because I want to beef up the ceiling a little bit and I want to have a little light storage up top, I'm gonna do 2x8s, run across here and nail these all together. And then afterwards, I'll put another 2x6 on that 2x6, and I will add some plywood up top, the proper insulation so I can have some storage up there. But that's later on. All I want to do right now is sister these up, add my strapping wherever it's missing along here, and add any nailers that I need to, like this one here. And I'm gonna do something up here to try and tie the joists into the rafters, but we'll get into that a little later. But first things first, let's bring in this lumber and start sistering up these joists. Lean these all up right in here. Cool. Get some air in. Got my 2x8s in here. Let's start over here and get my first one in. I'm not gonna put one here because not only is this supported on the center wall and the exterior wall, but I can also add some nails into the old exterior wall, into those studs. You can see there's one nail there, but I'll put some nails in those studs and that'll be supported nice. So my first one is gonna be right here, and I'm gonna go on this side. So right here, you'll notice there's some cross bracing. I'm just gonna cut that 1.5 inches back and try and slide my joist in between there and reattach those afterwards. Those are just to help the distribution between the joists, and they're a good thing to have, so I'll keep them there if I can. I'm just gonna take this 2x4. I don't know why this shim is here, but I'm just gonna leave it. I'm gonna put my 2x4 like this. So I'm going to cut this straight with this so that it'll have that angle when I reattach it to the new joist. Yeah, that should be plenty of room to get in there. I'm just going to hack this off. Okay, I'll do the same thing with this one. Cool. Now I'm just gonna look down this entire joist, make sure there's no nails or anything that's gonna trip me up. Make sure that top plate's good over there. There's no nails sticking out of that. All the way down here. Make sure this top plate's good, which it is. And I am gonna stop it right here. The other thing that I was thinking of doing to tie these together is to add a piece right here, like this, a 2x6, and then I would have to add plywood to bump it out to be even with this. And then I was gonna run the 2x8 further in this way and then attach it. But by the time I do all that, I'm gonna turn this thing into Swiss cheese with all the nails and everything. And This has been here since 1946. So ideally, you want to connect these together so that the walls don't blow out, basically. But like I said, been here since 1946. I don't think it's going anywhere. And I do have a solution that I'll show you once this is in. I can also take this old insulation out of here. Ew. Nailed it. Now before I put my new joist in, I want to do something called crowning. And it's a little hard to see on camera, but basically you want to hold the board like this, and one of these sides is going to be not as extreme, but for the purpose of this video, it's going to be like this, and then the other side is going to be like this. So basically in the middle, there is what we call a crown or a bump out. So what you want to do is put all the crowns the same way, and you want to put the crown up. So if it curves out like this, you want to put this at the top. So when I crown this, I'll make a mark like this, and that shows that this wants to be up. And the reason for that is because if there's any deflection in the joist, it will basically straighten out. Instead of, if I put it the other way, there's a crown or a bow this way, it'll sag even more. I made an entire video dedicated to crowning. I'll leave a link in the description, but those are the basics. So I'm going to crown every piece before I put them up. I'm going to feed all these through the old pull down staircase hole. That'll make it a little easier. Okay. I'll go upstairs, drop it down. The good thing about this is I don't have to cut these. 10 foot works out where they're going to be perfect on both sides on the top plates. So, let's see if I can sneak this down without having to go down there. Drop it onto that top plate. Like that. Might have some trouble with this cross bracing. Go back down. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of up and down. There we go. There's no sag in this. I thought there was going to be a sag. Well, there's not one in this one anyways. That cross bracing is going to work out perfect. I want to make sure I'm sitting on the top plate as much as I can on both sides. This one's right at the end, and that one looks like it's right on the end. Yep, just overhanging a little bit. I'm just going to make sure the bottoms are good. So now what I'm going to do is get a bunch of nails in this every 16 inches or so, and essentially what that's going to do is create more than a 2x8, more than a 2x6, something a little better than that, because it's going to be combined almost like a beam would be. So it's going to make it super strong, and I will feel comfortable getting some storage up here afterwards, and definitely feel comfortable with the ceiling right here. Let's nail it. Make sure it's good the whole way. Pull it down slightly over here so it sits on that top plate. I'm also toe-nailing it into the top plate. Now these cross braces, all I want to do is make sure there's a gap in between them, So if there is any movement, it won't be squeaky. All right. First joist is in. It's sitting on that top plate all the way. Reattached my cross bracing. Now let me show you what I'm going to do down here. All right, after a little trial and error, this is what I came up with. Got my strap in here, like so. Some 1.5" structural screws. And then I slid it in between here and attached it right here. 1.5" structural screws and some 3" nails right here. I think there's a fine line to play here with how many screws you want to put in or nails to have it not split. It's kind of right at the end of the rafter, so that is a possibility. It's not perfect, but it's better than nothing. If you guys would do this different, you let me know. Besides adding rafters or tearing these joists out and putting new ones in, because I'm not willing to do that. But if you had any other suggestions, too late now, but go ahead and share your opinion. Thank you. Moving on. Before I move on, I'm just gonna get some nails into these studs. Help support this a little more. Next, crown goes up this way. And as you may have noticed, I'm not using glue with these. I don't think it's necessary for these. I like using them on floor joists because there's a lot more foot traffic and stuff moves around a lot more, but this is going to be pretty stationary, so I don't think it's going to be an issue. I'm actually pretty surprised that these aren't bowed in the middle. I thought with 2x6 over 10 feet, 24 on center, that I might have at least a little bit of a bow, but I do not. So that's a good indicator that there wasn't too much weight on this, and I should be good with, especially a new ceiling. Drywall is lighter than it used to be, in case you didn't know that. If I did have one bowing in the middle, what I like to do, you can use a jack to push it up, but what you do is you put the new one in, nail it on this end, nail it on that end, tight, then take a 2x4 and measure from the old joist to the floor and cut it long, put your foot on the bottom and just kind of pull, and that'll raise that up. You can nail it and then take the 2x4 out. Just a little tip. So that's the name of the game. Just put them in just like I am, cut the cross bracing, nail it back together. I have 4 left and I'm gonna throw those in and we'll go from there. of my ceiling joists are sistered up, and I got straps in. I had to bend that one around because there was no way I was going to be able to screw it from the other side or nail it. Straps all the way here. I'm pretty comfortable with that. At least I got those tied in a little bit. Now I'm gonna fill in this strapping right here. So what I could do with this is cut all of these in the middle right here, and then just fill these pieces in, bottom to those ones right here. But I like to stagger my joints. So here I'll cut this half on, and then I'll butt this one to here, and then over here I'm gonna cut it half on here and then half on there. And that might seem like a waste, but the thought for me is, let's say that your new strapping is slightly smaller than the old strapping, which it happens to be. Instead of, another thing I could do is put a 2x4 here and hold it down and shim this side to make it all even. Instead, if I stagger the seams and this is slightly off, or whatever the case is, it's just good practice to stagger the seams so that when the ceiling is done, it'll be a lot harder to notice defects in the drywall after it's hung. That's my thought anyways. So I'll fill this in and then put a piece up here where it's missing, and anywhere else, which I don't think any more is missing, and then I'm gonna nail off all this old strapping. Okay, I'm gonna mark these so I don't get lost while I'm doing this. I'm gonna cut this one here straight, and then cut this one back here. I'm gonna leave this one alone, cut this half on here, leave this one alone, and then I can cut that one there. And then the last one, cut half on this there, and right here. If you're bold enough, you could also use a circular saw while you're doing this, but I'd rather not. Nails. I use these for framing. These are 3 1/4 inch. I use these for strapping, 2 1/4. And would you look at this? I can reuse some of that strapping. Nice. I can fill in this piece next to the wall. Just so happens that 8 feet is half on that joist there. So I'll tuck it up in there. And remember, please wear safety glasses. 55. Stay live. And now, since over time these nails may have loosened up in some spots, I'm gonna go around and nail 2 nails into any of the new joists that I can. And then where I don't have the new joists, which is really just the ends, this one and the other one, I'll do 2 nails. And if any nails are sticking past like these ones, I'll hammer them up. Just nail off the whole thing, make it brandy new old. Basically all of them. All of them need to be hammered up. This gets tiring. Things like this can be important. Re-nailing these, hitting the nails back up. It's not that your ceiling's going to collapse or anything, unless it's really bad, but it can move if these nails are loose and you don't nail it. So you'll have cracking in the ceiling. And obviously, you don't want that. If these nails are coming out, or if there's extra nails here, I'm also scanning for nails that were left in here. If you don't take those out, you can have pops in the ceiling and just make your mudding job even harder. So just little things like this that keep in mind when you're doing projects like this. That's all. Ceiling is all set. So I'm going to take a look around, starting on this wall here. And I have a nailer here for my drywall and a nailer here. That one is pretty small, maybe 3/4 of an inch. But if I hang that first, I should be good. If I hang this wall first, my drywall is going to come out a 1/2 inch and I'll only have about 1/4 inch to screw to here. So instead of having to add a nailer, I'll just keep in mind I'm going to do this wall first. And that goes for down here too. That's about 3/4 or an inch. So I have plenty here. Do this first, bump out a 1/2 inch here, and I'll still have a good 1.25 inches right here to be able to nail to. Where I built the center wall over here, I am missing nailers. So I have nothing to screw the drywall to here. So I want to attach something right here so that I can attach the drywall. So all the way down. And then on the other side, same thing. This side's a little trickier. I can screw into the top plate there. I should put a piece here and here, but this wire is here, so I can't put a full 2x4. So I'm just gonna rip down some pieces and sneak them in there. Look where my first piece of drywall is gonna land. That's gonna be the seam. So I do have to get something right there, unfortunately. And I'm gonna have to do it in a way where I'm not gonna end up putting a screw into this box or these wires. So I gotta get creative. Let's do the easy side first. Couple 2x4s on the flat. Oops. See that? That happened because I said the E word. Actually, it happened because I was a little reckless with the nail gun. Don't want that to interfere with our drywall, so take that out, and we're good. Now the bottom. Get this out of the way. 62 3/4. So here's what I came up with for this piece over here. I ripped down this piece right here. I'm gonna go in here like this. And on the back side, I put these plates on. So that will protect the wire and the box. It's gonna go something like this. because I do still need to get screws about here, but I want to make sure that I don't put a screw into a wire. So whether I have to get shorter screws just for this part right here, or if it works out where an 1¼ inch screw will actually work, at least I won't go through those plates. And then I pre-drilled some holes because this is a little small. This is 7/8 wide. And then I did some at an angle up here because this thing is kind of in my way. So I can attach that. That'll do. And I think the top is good. I can get a screw on the top there. I'll put another one of those plates in front of that wire when I go to do the electrical. And then I can screw into here, and I'll just throw one at the bottom right here. Okay. The only other place I need nailers is right here. Basically need to put a stud in here, and I'm gonna attach this, and then I'm actually gonna cut this back so that I can bring the drywall down further because I'm doing trim right here now. This was the old trim, and I'm actually gonna do 3/4 all the way around here. So I'm gonna need something to nail that trim to, and obviously there's a big gap here that was used for the window weights. So I just wanna fill that in. But I'm gonna do that at another time. Everything else is all set. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you wanna see more like it, you can click hereish and check those videos out. And if you haven't subscribed yet, definitely consider it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Lean against the wall. That's probably dangerous. Why didn't I do that? That was dumb. Damn.